Let's talk about synthetic confidence, the internet's favorite drink. I will explain. You see, in this fully digital era, the performance of conviction has replaced craft. Confidence used to be a byproduct. It was not the main thing. You learned the thing well enough, you've repeated it long enough, and now your body and your reputation carries the signal of someone who knows what they were doing and what they are doing. But now, and in more recent times, it seems like the signal comes first, and then the work comes after. That's even if it comes after all. That's even if it comes at all, if I may put it that way. You see, what we have today is a large supply of confidence with a thin layer of skill underneath. Now, this is not always fraudulent. This is not always empty. It is just early. You see, a performance of conviction used to get through the doors that no longer opens for excitation. You need it. And as they say on these streets, if you snooze, complete it for me. Anyways, the shift did not happen suddenly. It crept in through a mix of technology, culture, and of course, survival instinct. And no thanks to social media, these tools that help us curate these avatars, they've made it possible to perform these things, this confidence. A person speaks with a steady gaze, they use a lot of words, big words, and a clean sentence, and then they win, online and offline, long before anyone can check whether they are right. And most people will not check. Digital platforms like X and LinkedIn, they've reward confidence-shaped outputs. A very sharp take, a crisp one, sharp opinion, fast response. If you hesitate, you get buried. Nuance, disappear. And then this clip travels faster than the correction. An agenda, as they say, takes foothold. Who cares what the expert thinks? When a random account has said something or typed it with so much confidence. Who cares? When the knowledgeable voice is shadow banned. Meanwhile, don't get me wrong, competence still matters, but it no longer introduces you. Confidence does. Or at least that's what we are noticing and seeing now on the timelines. You see, me, I'm from Lagos, and I know this very well. This is our nature back in my city. And I've seen it all my life, and this is in fact a core feature of my city. You have to learn how to fake it till you make it. And of course, you also have to learn how to spot who is faking it so that you don't get swept up in their choreography. That's a fact. That's one of the perks of being a Lagosian. Now, Lagos has always run on projected reality. People use confidence as working capital. Stretch your voice a little bit beyond your circumstance. You ask in any bravado situation, do you know who I am? Because if you don't, if you wait for the world to validate you, you will not move an inch. This is the codified way to survive on the streets of Lagos. And I'm now seeing this take the shape on the internet. As we do in Lagos, a small business owner talks like a national franchise. You hear them say, oh, me, we, okay, so I will check with mine, and my team would, well, we everywhere like a siren. Of course, the world gradually says we to their dreams because they're on it. A tailor behaves like it's a designer house, just one tailor. And an artist frames himself as if he's a touring art in his captions, in his razzmatazz. Lagos treats you or trains you to speak like the version of yourself that you're trying to reach, not the one that you currently occupy. Now, don't get me wrong, not everyone survives it. But those who do, they carry an unusual skill, the ability to animate tomorrow with today's voice. This behavior that I'm describing, the world is just catching up to it. You've seen it all over the internet. And now that AI has even formalized the aesthetic of certainty, things will get even more dense. This is the problem. AI never hesitates. It does not pause to weigh the edges of an idea. It answers as if the world depends on its tempo. And then you have these people who are constantly talking to this machine and then unconsciously imitating its tone. How does it play out? Short sentences, flat confidence, no wobble, no uncertainties. Clean, straight bravado. It's not that AI is always right. It is that AI sounds like something that should be right. And you know what sounds does? It travels faster than substance. We are learning from the machine without noticing its flaws. Mind you, it's okay to say you do not know. It's okay to hesitate before you answer. Because in fact, in the past, hesitation used to signal thoughts. It shows that this person is really thinking about what they're about to say and they understand the weight of a decision or the complexity of a topic. Now, if you hesitate, you sound like you don't know what you're talking about, like you're not a professional. You know, those Google Meet calls, everybody just needs to say something. You sound like you're an incompetent. But competent people often hesitate because they see the entire board. Incompetent people, they move fast because they don't see anything beyond the first square. I'll give you an analogy. I once worked with someone with whom I assume was a cutthroat professional, one very dull guy like that. And for a few months, I was observing this guy. For the few months that we were working, there was a recurring statement in his vocabulary whenever a task is within his purview. What he would always say is, make a sharply, make a sharply, make a quickly, make a sharply, make a quickly, make a sharply, like that. And it didn't take long for me to tell that was all hubris. You see, when he couldn't keep up with the work, he crashed out. What was obvious is that there's no depth, there's no rigor, only reaction. This type of group, they tend to look more confident in the beginning. But that's because visibility is beating depth. For now, as you've seen on the internet, two people can have the same idea. One knows how to, as they say, package it. The other one does not. For example, one person secures a funding on a deck and a vision, while the other is still perfecting the prototype in the lab. The first person looks like a pioneer, and the second one looks like they are stuck, even if they are doing more work. This is why more people seem to open new lanes with ease. They describe the world that they are building long before the world exists. You see it all the time. They're very sharp with it. They have the right lines, and they create a whole new categories, and they begin to call the shot. You know what I mean? And then when they call the shot, they build a frame around it. Now, this is what the issue is. These type of people always get funded because the world likes what they're saying. The people with the money likes their confidence. And of course, they sound like they know what they are doing or where they are going. That is not luck. I've told you before. That is orchestration. Now, you wonder what my grouse is with all of this. Let me explain. Syntactic confidence becomes dangerous because a person who knows how to perform certainty will eventually hit a wall. The tone stops working when the task demands actual craft. Some of you may recover and learn the craft. Some may switch industries if they can't fake it anymore. And some double down on their performance until the cycle collapses. But remember, as an employer, I've lost resources, the small money I'm using to bootstrap my business. As your client, a client also on the other end has gotten a very shit result, and just generally, the standards and innovation that should move the needle are stalled. This is my issue with this synthetic confidence. Now, don't get me wrong. There are many people who are using synthetic confidence as a temporary scaffolding while they build the real thing. This version is not fake, don't get me wrong. It is transitional, and I understand it. And sometimes it is necessary. But the risk is when people forget to make transition. You know what I mean? You have to. So what can you do in this era if you don't want to be synthetic alone? One thing for sure, you don't have to mimic the internet's bravado. Be very careful about that. And you don't have to be loud, but you can't afford to be invisible either. So a few things that I think you should do that would help. Speak cleaner, not necessarily louder. Show your reasoning in your work, not forcing your authority. Use confidence as an introduction, not as a disguise. Build a rhythm of evidence behind your claims. Show walk-ins, as they say. Open the door with your voice, but keep the room with your walk. You see, confidence is no longer a personality trait. It has become a tool for arranging attention. And they arrange it long enough to create proof. Some people use it carelessly, like I've said, and some people use it as a camouflage, but the most interesting people use it as a momentum to create a way. Rather, they use it as a momentum, a way to create enough forward movement for the work to find its shape. That is the version worth preserving. That is the version that I believe will survive beyond this era. So that's my opinion on synthetic confidence. Synthetic confidence. I think it's synthetic, plastic. So thank you for joining my essays. Well, as you know, why do I do these essays? They are a way of examining the emotional infrastructure of the future. How these emerging systems and tools and cultural habits are quietly shaping how we build, work, and relate with each other.